Hi, good evening. Welcome to A Foreigner in the Philippines. Oh, it's a bit of a, not really a late night meandering, but I'm just pondering some of the statistics that a friend of ours sent to us about our channel. Thought you might find it interesting. It seems that since December 28th, 2017, when our subscribership at that time was, let me see, 9,817 apparently. So since then we have been gaining, over the last 19 months or so, we've been gaining new subscribers at the amazing rate of 266 per day on average. That's 8,000 a month over 19 months. So people often say to us, you know, oh, you're doing things for views. You're doing this just to get views. Well, you need, for those people who are thinking that and thinking badly of us for that, you really need a reality check. We are in the business, and let's face it, that's what we do. That's our job. Our job is to try to scratch a living, and believe me, even though in the Philippines we do quite well, if it were taken in the UK or the US, we'd be working on less than minimum wage just because of the sheer number of hours we do. Look at the time right now, local time, it's 10 minutes to 8. I've just had dinner and I'm coming straight back to do the work. This is the work. So, why would we expect to have views? Well, we expect to have views because if no one's looking at what you do, then you better get another job, okay? Either that or you better learn something more about marketing. And that is the skill that my warrior princess has in abundance. You'll often hear me tongue-in-cheek, admittedly, talking about housekeeping and lack of it. But what we do have with my warrior princess is an incredible feel for marketing and how to market what we do. So it's not enough to do it. I mean, what am I doing right now? I'm making a video. I'm talking to a camera. In fact, you'll notice that I'm actually talking to myself because I'm talking to the little screen that's on the left-hand side or the right-hand side as I look at it. I'm talking to that image of myself because it feels more comfortable to talk to somebody rather than a hole in the front of the camera, which is what I'm looking at right now. But when I look at the screen for a figure, a live figure, albeit myself, I'm not even looking at you, okay? But I am making a video, and I'm making a video and it's based on, well, on nothing more than anecdotal, in other words, storytelling, and what I may think about something. And if I don't think about something and express it in a particular way which entertains some people, a lot of people we hope, then I will be wasting my time. And so it's all about views, in that it's not just a question of doing something for views only. In other words, I mean, I used to have a friend in the UK who said that people were so gullible that they would, if you actually presented it well, then they would like anything. He said, if you put a turd on the stage of the Royal Palladium, people would applaud it. And he may well have been right. I'd like to think that there's a little bit more in our videos than a turd on the stage. Even though we won't get into an argument on that right now, okay? It's about it's about gaining views, which will tell you what the response is to what you've done. So if you're doing incredibly boring things that interest no one, then you can expect that eventually people will start to recognize right at the very beginning, oh no, it's going to be a lot of those boring things. I used to have someone who every time that I started to talk about something, if it went on more than 3 or 4 minutes, he'd say that it was another War and Peace. War and Peace, you may or may not know, I've never read it myself, but I've seen lots of jokes about it, whereas a book that was about this thick. Hence my long-winded approach to talking about things. So, the views. We do things and we look at the statistics. Now, YouTube give you an analyticals page that you can go to, and it tells you all of the various statistics on what you've done. It tells you which were your most popular videos. It tells you how long people are staying with you, an abysmally short time, by the way. The people that form the average of all of the videos that we do and the watch times. The actual attention span is very short, can be as short as 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, which is very disheartening if you're doing a video that is like this one. Let me see, I think this has been going on for 6 minutes. Beth always asks me to keep it down to about 10, which I always fail miserably to do. But there are those who ask us, because we also get feedback on our views, right? Some people will say, too long, too winded, it's War and Peace, don't talk for so long. And then there are those who say your videos are too short. Now you have to go into averages here and try to please everybody. We'll do fun videos. Someone actually suspected that maybe we set up our little frolic in the mud. Oh heavens, that we should be suspected of that. That wasn't a completely spontaneous thing where we went down to the rice field and started larking around, and suddenly it developed into a mud fight. These things are loosely agreed upon between the players in any blog. They will have agreed on a certain way that they interact, and that's what you get. And it's either entertaining or it's not. And it's very much based on whether you like the person. And if you don't, you won't stay with that blog. You won't stay with that channel. And quite rightly too, because you should gravitate toward and attract to you those people that you feel the most comfortable with and that you actually enjoy looking at. I happen to think that the American actor Keanu Reeves is a very cold actor, but he has a certain magnetism which makes it easy to watch, and so I look at his movies, and that occurs with a lot. I can't stand Tom Cruise, as I would dread to be trapped in an elevator with Tom Cruise, but he makes good movies for me, and it's all down to opinion. And so when you are presenting us with our views, it is based on whether what we're doing is making any sense to you and whether it entertains you. That's the other thing. We do what we can to be entertaining. Now, we did have someone wrote to us, and actually she wrote to Beth on Beth's channel, and she said to Beth, why don't you, I think I'm paraphrasing now, okay, so changing it so that I can express it, but what she was saying was that she thought that that Beth was not being realistic. Why don't you be realistic? Why don't you give your audience reality? Why don't you teach them something? Why don't you? And then she gave a whole list of things that she felt should be done in a video. Our suggestion to her was, why don't you go and find a channel that actually meets your needs right now, instead of trying to work out what everybody else's needs are. It's very simple. Beth, if you have been looking at Beth's channel, Beth is not likely to get the she's not likely to get an award for tact and diplomacy, nor is she likely to become the ambassador for the Philippines at any given time, because if people start to seem crazy to her, then she'll say, why don't you go somewhere else, you crazy woman? And she expresses herself, and because of that...
It.
What, honey?
I just leave it for a few minutes and I deleted it because it's not right.
Ah, she's just told me I'm wrong. Could it be? She says that what she does is she answers the comments that inspire her to speak so, and then after an hour or so, or even less, she takes the response down. Okay, I stand corrected. But nevertheless, she does say it. And to the point that someone else wrote in to Beth's channel and said, Beth, you really make me laugh the way that you respond to your viewers sometimes. See? So, everybody's out there and they're either viewing or they're not viewing. And we look at how what we do makes people comment, usually, even though we're having our problems with comments at the moment. That's only that people have not been able to comment on the actual video itself. But it doesn't make any difference, because we found that people who want to comment will get through to us some way. And there's any number of ways that you can communicate to us: in Messenger and in email. It's an open forum there. Okay, so those were our statistics, and I thought that 266 per day was pretty stunning. And we are actually going through something of a spike right now, in that we're actually watching the subs come, you know, one at a time, just clicking away. They're going up and up and up and up, and I think right now we are at 160 and growing. How many is it right now, Beth? 160.
Wait, I'll check it. Yeah, 160.
And
179.
160, 179. See, it went to 160 early this morning. Here we are 12 hours later, and it's already gone nearly 200. So we thank all of you who give us your viewing time. If, as often is the case, you want to suggest a good subject, I've got a couple here on my pad which I intend to do a video on, because it was suggested to me. So thanks for those suggestions. That's all from me. Thanks for looking in. This is A Foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.